Putin's days are numbered as Russia disintegrates around him. As a Russian victory in Ukraine becomes more unlikely, many analysts believe that Putin's life or political career could be on the line. An expert has warned that internal strife among the ruling elite in the Kremlin poses a serious threat to President for life, Vladimir Putin, and could lead to civil war in Russia. We are already witnessing the beginning of the end for the Russian leader, according to Luke Coffey, an expert at the Hudson Institute think tank in Washington, D.C. Putin supporters are now bitterly divided over the disastrous decision to invade Ukraine, with hardliners insisting they would have won the conflict if they had been in charge and oligarchs hoping to mend fences with the West in order to protect their own wealth and power. Mr. Coffey predicted that, without Putin in charge, Russia would likely break up into several smaller countries, a trend that had already begun with the dissolution of the Soviet Union. There will be a lot of tough decisions to make, and whoever comes out on top will need to watch their back, he warned. It's more likely that Putin's domestic opponents were responsible for the recent drone attack on the Kremlin, which Moscow has tried to blame on Ukraine. Putin's future is most likely to involve death or exile. Mr. Coffey elaborated that once the war ends, disillusioned soldiers will push for their home provinces to secede from Moscow's rule. He predicted unrest among the disgruntled in an interview with the Daily Mail. Moscow will need to pick and choose which parts to defend and which power brokers to work with to secure its interests, says the author. Russia is likely to lose in Ukraine, and the president of that country has warned of dire consequences for Putin. Putin will be killed, according to Volodymyr Zelensky, because those in his inner circle are all ruthless ex-KGB officers. When that happens, the carnivore will become dinner. It's crucial, and they'll need to back up their decision with evidence. They will remember what Komarov and Zelensky said. It will not be forgotten. They will concoct an excuse to eliminate the perpetrator. Is there hope for success? Yes. When? I have no idea. After the governor of Belgorod failed to collect Russian POWs captured inside Russia, 2 military detachments of anti-Putin Russians fighting for Ukraine said they would hand over the prisoners to Ukraine. When the governor of Belgorod Oblast, Vyacheslav Gladkov, was supposed to meet the Russian Volunteer Corps and the Freedom of Russia Legion at a church in Nova Tavolzhanka to retrieve the captured Russian soldiers, the governor did not show up. The Russian Volunteer Corps and the Freedom of Russia Legion have been conducting a renewed military operation in Russia's Belgorod Oblast since the 1st of June. The groups have instead said they will turn over the prisoners to Ukraine for further exchanges. 10 captured soldiers and 2 injured ones can be seen in Denis Nikitin, leader of the Russian Volunteer Corps, speaking to the camera. 2 hostages were filmed by the Russian Volunteer Corps and the Freedom of Russia Legion in the afternoon of June 4, pleading for a meeting with Belgorod Oblast Governor Gladkov in exchange for their freedom.